Islands, you'll now see a team of Special Operations personnel from Australia, Norway, and the United States preparing to conduct a helocast insertion into the channel using an MH-47 Chinook helicopter. This method of insertion can be conducted miles offshore in the ocean or deep inland in rivers or lakes. It is used to stealthily approach enemy positions.
And he will be describing throughout this operation what's actually going on out here, the technical aspects of it.
The Chinook can also conduct fast roping, rappelling missions, large-scale air assaults, resupply missions, and parachute operations. This helicopter has an aero refueling capability which allows Special Operations personnel to conduct missions deep within enemy territory. Loading, I'll talk here while they're loading, and then as soon as they load and hit like they did yesterday, I'll call the GMBs.
Again, another very impressive piece of equipment, and that's what this is all about. The operational skills involved, advanced equipment,
These highly trained pilots can fly nearly 150 miles per hour, just a few feet off the ground, at night and in bad weather. The Chinook's range is 858 miles, and it features 4 gun stations. It is powered by 2 Textron turboshaft engines and is able to transport up to 54,000 pounds. Ladies and gentlemen, if you will look behind you, you will next see an attack on an enemy checkpoint using Special Operations all-terrain vehicles and ground mobility vehicles, more commonly known as Humvees. This assault force consists of personnel from Brazil, Colombia, Jordan, Thailand, United Arab Emirates, and the United States. Are they going to call all clear? Because Special Operations personnel may well need to operate deep behind enemy lines on their own with only occasional resupply from the air, the 275-mile cruising range of the Humvee is invaluable.
The 60's 1 minute out.
Roger. The Humvee, of course.
Ladies and gentlemen, you will now see an MH-60 Black Hawk helicopter approaching the channel with Australian, Thai, and U.S. operators on board. They will execute a fast rope infiltration to eliminate an enemy sentry located on the barge you see in front of you. The MH-60 Black Hawk is primarily used for insertion and extraction missions of Special Operations forces in hostile environments, day and night, and in all weather. They can also conduct resupply, medical evacuation, and combat search and rescue missions. Troops can also utilize this aircraft for parachute infiltrations. The MS-60 Black Hawk is flown exclusively by the 160th Special Operations Aviation Regiment.
Drop it down and quickly back.
Included in this assault force are highly trained demolition experts. They are trained in a variety of conventional explosives, such as dynamite and C4, as well as improvised munitions and sabotage operations. Much like a real mission, because of limited time and no means to remove the items, the team will place C4 explosives with the time-delayed charge calculated to detonate after they leave the barge. What about the ribs? Should I start? Two rigid-hull inflatable boats, or ribs, are now approaching the main enemy village to execute the hostage rescue mission against a fortified enemy position. This assault force is comprised of Army Green Berets, Navy SEALs, Air Force combat controllers, and Marine Corps special operators, and consists of personnel from Brazil, Canada, Jordan, Norway, Poland, the United Thailand.
The pirate boat's going to come.
Okay. The 11-meter rib is a high-speed, high-buoyancy, extreme weather craft, the primary mission of delivering U.S. Navy SEALs. Each craft is manned by a crew of 3 special warfare combatant craft crewmen and can carry 8 personnel. Ladies and gentlemen, if you look to the north end of the harbor, it looks like an enemy vessel. Coming back for them. These boats perform short-range insertion and extraction missions, coastal resupply, It's also interesting to note that this craft is air droppable by the C-5, C-17, and C-130 aircraft. 47's coming in. Yeah. Are they coming? Okay.
He's gone. He's on the boat. I saw the guy. He was wearing a baseball cap. Yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, soon you will see an MH-60 Black Hawk helicopter returning to pick up the assaulters from the barge. They will use the Special Patrol Insertion and Extraction System to depart the area. This system is used for extracting personnel from areas where helicopters cannot land, such as dense jungle, aboard vessels at sea, and from atop buildings in urban areas. During this method, a rope is attached to the helicopter and lowered down to the personnel. A series of rings on the rope allow operators on the ground to harness. This is where they're going to blow it, right? As they fly away. They're going to blow it as they fly away. Ladies and gentlemen, as the helicopter flies away, oh, it looks like they were able to destroy the weapons cache. So what do you want to talk about the GMBs? Wait. I'm going to go to the Chinook?
Just a couple of moments.
All right.
Pick up the
GMBs. The ground mobility and all-terrain vehicles will now depart the area. The 47's coming.
Yeah, this is great. 47 inbound.
Individual weapons making so much noise.
47 is 1 minute out.
Roger.
Start with a big bang.
Soon you will see the MH-47 Chinook helicopter returning to pick up the personnel from the water. The personnel will be positioned in a straight line at approximately 5-meter intervals. The helicopter will fly low, drop out and drag an aluminum caving ladder and fly down the line as each individual climbs into the aircraft. If you look in front of the Tampa General Hospital, you can just barely make up the heads of the operators lined up.
Go
ahead.
Okay, Roger. Getting ready to shoot that ladder.
I think it's worth talking now. I can use the Delta Queen stuff. Something interesting to note is that the older version of this exfiltration method was called the Mississippi Delta Queen. With this method, the Chinook would lower the back ramp, immerse itself into the bay until the cargo compartment actually filled with water. And then the Zodiac and its crew would simply drive right up inside the helicopter. This was an extremely complex maneuver, only achievable by highly skilled special operation aviators. Due to the advanced avionics on board today's aircraft, this exfiltration method is no longer conducted. Another interesting fact to consider about today's event is that as impressive as all of this is, it's even more impressive when you consider that these teams had to merge different tactics, different techniques, different procedures from 10 different nations and overcome significant language barriers. And they choreographed all of this demonstration in just 4 days. These special operators truly are the best our countries have to offer. Ladies and gentlemen, if you'll look overhead, coming from the south, the final event you will see today is a military free fall parachute operation. 4 United States Marine Corps jumpers will exit a C-130 Hercules aircraft from approximately 6,000 feet and deploy their parachutes. They will assemble in the air and then land together in the channel in front of you. Considered to be one of the military's most demanding and potentially hazardous advanced skills, military free fall parachute operations are used to infiltrate enemy areas under the cover of darkness to avoid detection. Parachutists land at their objective as a combat-ready tactical unit. Special operations military free fall personnel are taught to conduct high-altitude, low-opening missions by exiting an aircraft at altitudes up to 35,000 feet. Typically, the parachutists free fall to about 2,500 feet from ground level before deploying their canopies. They have just exited the aircraft.
They are out of the aircraft now. They are straight above us.
The jumpers are directly above the Tampa Convention Center now.
Their chutes have deployed at 4,000 feet. They jumped from 8,000. And free fell, it's called halo, high altitude, low opening. Skydiving is what we call it, civilian circuits.
A similar activity is known as high altitude, high opening parachute missions, in which parachutists exit at high altitudes and deploy their canopies using highly maneuverable gliding parachute systems to silently travel distances of more than 50 kilometers. These highly trained individuals conduct military free fall operations in the dead of night while fully loaded when in excess of 100 pounds of combat equipment and wearing special helmets and oxygen masks.
And as we look up right above the convention center now, I'm trying to look up because they're right into the sun.
I'm going to go ahead.
Yesterday when we went through this rehearsal, we knew the sun was going to be a difficult thing.
Another interesting thing to note, ladies and gentlemen, is the fact that all of our airspace required for today's event is being controlled by several Air Force Special Operations Command Combat Controllers, or CCTs. The senior CCT for today's event is Major Mark MacDill. He is located on top of the Tampa General Hospital and is responsible for controlling the layering of all of today's aircraft. This includes the MH-47 Chinook, MH-60 Blackhawk, CV-22 Osprey, and the C-130 Hercules aircraft, including all the jumpers in free fall and under canopy. His responsibilities also include coordinating airspace with the Federal Aviation Administration, Tampa International Airport, Peter O. Knight Municipal Airport, and several other smaller local airports. In fact, during yesterday's rehearsal, Major MacDill cleared airspace and coordinated the arrival of a Tampa General Hospital life flight helicopter. Another CCT is positioned on one of the rigid hull inflatable boats near today's mission commander, Major Aaron Schwartz. This CCT allows Major Schwartz to have full control over all aspects of the operation, land, sea, and air. The CCTs actually perform their duties of air traffic controller right out of the rucksack on their back. A great example of these capabilities occurred in January 2010 when 10 Air Force Special Operations Command combat controllers were among the first to arrive at the International Airport in Port-au-Prince, Haiti, after a devastating 7.0 magnitude earthquake. Combat controllers from the 23rd Special Tactics Squadron immediately conducted a runway assessment and determined the extent of the damage. Within 28 minutes of landing on the ground, this team of combat controllers had taken full control of air operations in theater. In total, the 23rd Special Tactics Squadron brought in over 1,600 fixed wing and 800 helicopters in the 12 days they were deployed to Haiti.
And the ballet above us continues, and that's what it is really with these chutes fully deployed, very maneuverable chutes, and he's very skilled parachutist, might add.
If you look above you, it looks like the parachutists are lined up behind the lead parachuter. This is typical procedure, and he will guide them in to their channel landing. Today's demonstration is being conducted as part of U.S. Special Operations Command International Special Operations Forces Week, or ISOF, being held at the Tampa Convention Center and MacDill Air Force Base. This event, which is held every 4 years, brings together U.S. and international special operations leaders from around the world, retired SOF leaders, as well as corporate representatives from hundreds of companies. The theme for this week's ISOF Week is Building the Global SOF Partnership and reflects U.S. Special Operations Command's efforts to strengthen existing and build new, enduring relationships among our international SOF partners.
Parachutists coming in, they're about
So they
top of
land in the water.
Tampa General Hospital. One of them's almost in the water again, glides down softly, lands. Second one is in. Third one is about to enter the water, he does. And the fourth one comes down and lands.
Ladies and gentlemen, that's a successful water jump. Fantastic.
And by all.
This concludes the 2012 Special Operations Capability Demonstration. Please direct your attention to the returning rigid hull inflatable boats.
Roger, let me know when the announcement is already going to start announcing.
We're waiting. Inflatable boats now because they're going to contain the hostage, Mayor Bob Buckhorn. And again, we're all waiting to see if
He's
he's
going to let me know when the rigs move back to the main.
Okay.
in a suit and tie. We want to find out if he's got rid of the suit and tie in order to be a hostage.
Over 85 nations are with us this week in Tampa, exchanging ideas, learning from one another, and building trust. It is this trust that will prove invaluable when we come together to achieve mutual objectives against our adversaries.
Again, you're hearing it all from the PA announcer here, Marvin McGuire, giving all sorts of great information for folks here, as well as we hope.
Do we know when they're coming?
It's been losses. We're waiting this inflatable boat and the triumphant arrival of Mayor Bob Buckhorn. And I'll guarantee you, nobody is going to go away disappointed with that show. It's been awesome.
We're still waiting on the hostage return. We're hoping that that Mayor Buckhorn actually is able to be exchanged after this event.
It's not worth much. He's notoriously late.
We would like to take this opportunity to thank the City of Tampa, the Tampa Police, the Tampa Convention Center, and various others for their outstanding support at today's event.
Still waiting for folks coming up the channel.
I'd like to have a special thank you to the LRAD Corporation for allowing us to broadcast this event over their systems. LRAD equipment is in use by military forces and law enforcement agencies worldwide.
Okay, well, we're obviously waiting for right now is for those operators that were identified for media interviews to come back. We're supposed to be in a boat that's bringing them back. Which one that is, I don't know if it's this one here or if it's another one that they're bringing back, but I'm securing that answer right now. But it was supposed to be after everything was said and done. And then we will individually.
Now that they've successfully collected our Marine Corps Special Operations parachutists, I think we'll get a chance to get the Tampa mayor back on ground.
With those that we've selected for these missions. Say again?
I think so, yeah.
They might be on, if they take off.
If you look at the approaching ribs, you will see Mayor Bob Buckhorn is manning the forward 50 cal machine gun.
Those rib boats right there.
Firing off.
Shoot it up.
Looks like. Looks like the mayor's having quite a bit of fun too.
The mayor knows how to have fun in a situation like this, believe me. We worked together on the mayor's job many times, driven cars out of control, in firing situations.
Finally, ladies and gentlemen, please feel free to meet our Special Operations warriors and look at their equipment as they return to the convention center area. RIB operators and GMV operators will be available for you to meet and greet them. Thank you for attending today's event. Pull it off. Well done.
So that's a breakthrough in itself. He's about to exit the boat, the celebrity hostage.
Well done.
Oh, that's good, man.
And he's going to have a little trouble exiting the boat because it's quite a wake right next to the dock here. But I think they'll be able to get him out of there. Special operations.
I'm done here. I mean, unless exactly. I'm done with this unless you want exactly what to talk about.
He is on land right now. The hostage has been taken. And
You want to talk?
he has to go take a quick shower and all. He'll be at another engagement here in a few minutes. But I might add that tonight he will be back here at the Special Operations event so he can talk with Secretary of State Corey
to link up with us real quick.
But anyway, Marvin, that's a great job. I mean, it's so entertaining for me to sit here and hear what's going on out there.
It's fantastic, isn't it? I can't. As many times as I see it, it's still so impressive. These guys are just amazing.
Well, they are, and when you put it into context, everyone knows the context of killing Osama bin Laden by the SEAL Team 6. We're talking about another operation that was conducted by Special Forces operators, and to think that, and I hadn't even thought much about this. In fact, you had 9 separate countries that were in this demonstration.